Hello everybody, you know me, I know you. Obviously I will have some background playing because I am lively playing the background. You know I suck at editing, so I obviously won't edit in someone else playing. Or even myself. I had to discuss this. I don't mean to cause an outrage, just my opinion. If you don't like it, I don't know, piss off. We can maybe discuss it later. You know, good old Q&A. But I want to say this, Fortnite, it's a bad game. To be honest, I feel like it's undeniable at this point that Fortnite basically took over maybe a little bit of pop culture right now, or well, most gaming culture right now, because it's free, it's hip, it's a shooter. It's COD all over again, basically. But I mean, compared to what it may be at its core. Damn it, I can't hear myself when I'm not being as focused as I should. I'm sorry. But compared to what it could be and compared to its massive potential. Don't get me wrong, if pulled right, any Battle Royale game is a great Battle Royale game. And any bad Battle Royale game, if executed horribly, will be one of the worst games in the time frame. And Fortnite is one of those games, and it effectively goes against maybe some opinions. Epic Games has sued people. They're pretty active in their own community, but the community's damn pretty cancerous. It's taking over YouTube and stopping other content. And before, content plugs were maybe really bad because other games would pop out, and obviously if a good game pops out, you might want to play it. Maybe not for views, but you might want to show other people this and that. Oh, Fusion's a gamer. Fusion game is fucking dead. But maybe you just want to show people this. It's basically Fortnite, except Fortnite it's tinted by the fact that it's so much more popular that you can't really even play it without getting some kind of criticism that you're just riding this giant wave. And my main problem with Fortnite, the game, is that it's so repetitive and boring. There's nothing new brought. It's a basic as hell Battle Royale game. And yes, it's different because of its current game mechanics and its modes and how, who cares how fucking active the person, or in this case the studio, is. Overwatch, Blizzard is very active, and Overwatch is a phenomenal game for it. They're bringing in way better modes, except Overwatch deserves it. Because, see, they at least have a story for you to be invested in, and not a meteor crashed, for God fucking sakes. Not only that, but most of it doesn't make sense, seeing as how even Matt Pat had taken all of the value out of the meteor striking. You can turn shit on his head. Oh, the meteor missed us to tires. But for hell's sake, who the fuck cares? Who cares if that area is more populated? If it's more populated, put it up higher. That way more people will see, heated areas. More people want to play. What about Dusty David? It's so sad. Who the fuck cares? If they make a new area, great. You're actually improving the game instead of adding in shitty weapons that you take in a week later, a guided rocket, and basically going back on your own terms. Privacy policy terms that don't accept, or that don't really coincide. See, other privacy policy terms, because of the new past judgment, they're pretty up in front. But Fortnite doesn't even force it in. There's literally a screen that says, don't get scammed. You dumbass. That's not going to stop people from getting scammed. If I were to go up to you and I'd say, stop playing Fortnite, would you fucking stop? No. Unless you have an actual half a brain and an opinion, which you fucking should. If I tell you to stop playing Fortnite and you like the game, don't listen to me, for fuck's sakes. And if you think, oh, Fortnite's a good game, maybe just click off the video, because for God's sakes, is my opinion going to stand out? Because for hell's sake, a plug, except for maybe Detroit Become Human, I think that's what it's called, and that's just basically going to stop creative flow, which will then stop most income, which will then stop most game. I want to see stuff like, I don't know, the Ultimate Custom Night's definitely going to have its own exposure, but maybe you guys want to put in the comments games that you think have been completely stopped because other creators just upload Fortnite. Vanos Gaming. Because some people, not even some people, most people are fucking riding the trend. Some people are doing it because they personally like the game. I support those people. But then I kind of look at them differently. Because you may like the game, but showing off that you like it, it's not too different from bragging about how good you are. And I'm pretty sure you might as well fucking brag if you upload videos like, "Ooh, so good at Fortnite." For fuck's sakes, man, who cares? Ninja's good, who cares? Whoever falls to that clickbait's a dumbass. Fortnite is, and probably is, the worst Battle Royale game as of now. Which might be considerably a weird thing because PUBG, H1Z1, those are run really weird. Well, I would say copy or knockoff, but it was a standalone game. I don't know. I forgot what it was called, but it was taken down by now. There's also the .ios, which is the equivalent of going on A10 games and just looking for content. But you're not going to find it, and you shouldn't do it. Steam is the way to go, maybe AAA games. But for God's sakes, never go on A10 games and just fucking find a video. That's what you're basically doing. Except for Happy Wheel, since it is a fleshed out nice game. It's basically Super Mario Maker, except I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's more creativity in Super Mario Maker. I would relate them both, but I mean, there's not really much of a relation. It's like comparing Fortnite to PUBG. God, I hate those words. Fortnite compared to PUBG is like comparing a raccoon to a god. But the raccoon is retarded, handicapped, as in its leg was chopped off, and it's retarded too. For God's sake, somebody should just shoot Fortnite and just leave it out to die, because that's what the game deserves. Epic Games may be actively putting it up, but it's not even as good as actively putting up as other companies. Fucking Blizzard does a better job than you with Overwatch. I already brought that point up. Let's see, the gameplay is also very oversaturated, and any game can be an okay game if it basically depends on multiplayer. You know, some games are corely based on multiplayer to give it good content, and that's great, because if it's a multiplayer-only game, that means that it's basically standing up for its own concept. It's saying, please play this game with other people, that'll make it more fun, and if the point of the game is to play with other people, that's literally proving its own point. But for God's sake, does Fortnite literally only rely on the people to make it better? Obviously, other games do that too, but not as heavily as Fortnite. I mean, a lot of people can play Gang Beasts as 2 people and still get at least good content. Hell, they could play H1Z1 by themselves. That's where I bring up the plans that H1Z1's even a better game. And that game's fucking free. It's not even completely like PUBG, since PUBG maybe has better game mechanics. The people are more up to it. Basically, PUBG is a great game, especially when compared to the dead rat pile that is Fortnite. I'm gonna fucking lose this run. There it is, and then the game just taunts me like that. But for God's sakes, it's like somebody threw hot garbage into an incinerator and then made you smell it. That's Fortnite. That's gonna be my comparison to Fortnite. Saturated. It has another mode. We all know, Save the World. And my only problem with Save the World is it sucks more than Fortnite itself. It sucks more than Battle Royale, which is what Fortnite's better known for. It's clearable in 2 hours, and it is the most boring as hell gameplay experience even I've ever seen. And I've played some horrible gaming experiences. I've gone through hell and back with garbage games. Trust me, it's not even close to first of my half rodeo. This is like my 15th rodeo in a row with garbage games, or at least maybe slow starting games. Like Metal Gear Solid 5. That game starts out slow, but it surely develops into something fleshed out and really just amazing. See, that game's phenomenal, not because of its core game mechanics, and I'm not even going to say it as a campaign, because that'd be the equivalent of kicking someone in the balls. Obviously, Fortnite has its own campaign, and while it may be garbage, it's still a standalone thing. But for God's sakes, if it isn't some 2-hour really shitty pastime, then I would at least let it go for it. Ugh, for God's sakes, who have you seen actually be interested in Save the World? Its concept may be okay, but its execution is dog. Caca. There's no reason I should censor that. It's dog shit. The game is so uninteresting and bland that the new guns don't even make up for it. The new guns are basically one new item. That's it. That's one new action. Not even that. But some, like, the legendary burst rifle isn't even, like, a new action or anything new to do. Like, the C4 at least brought something in. The shopping cart was interesting because it was like the car from PUBG. Or even H1Z1. But for God's sakes, make it interesting. A shopping cart. You're in an apocalypse. And you look to your side and you see a shopping cart. You're fucking using it as a car. It's using it as an excuse for a car. It's stealing a concept from a better game and somehow doing it worse. You should maybe not even steal content. I'd say borrow them. Like, use cliches. Like, Until Dawn. Even that game used cliches to its advantage because that was the point of the game. It's cliche, but it keeps you on your toes because it usually tries to break them. Rather that or reinforce them. For instance, the bitch, the jock, the school hockey. Everything felt so right in that game. But Fortnite's just deprived from all that. The campaign is boring as dog shit, and I wouldn't even complete half of it. Because for God's sakes, if anyone's gone through it, they even know that it's hell. I just fucked up this run. I could have done it. God damn it. I'm not even supposed to be blabbering or repeating the same lines, but this game is so repetitive that it actually forces me to be repetitive. Ugh. God, do I hate this minigame. How many fast tokens? I have one left. For God's sakes, if Fortnite doesn't absolutely just suck cock. Not only that, but even its main story is oversaturated and underexplained. You are in zombie apocalypse. What? What is it? What? What are you supposed to take away? What's the meaning? What are you trying to do? Are you surviving for someone? Something? The Last of Us? Question mark. This game sucks at least 13 trillion more times than The Last of Us. That game's fucking phenomenal. But for God's sakes, nothing to really spice up the content too. There's not even like some kind of pop filter. And the Amazon Prime stuff is basically money grabbing. And it's not even like it's hidden money grabbing. It's not even like it's doing some really okay sponsorship deal. Like its Infinity War tribute was also easily tellable as some money grabbing excuse. Not only that, but to coincide with people that just saw Infinity War. If it's hip, we'll steal it. It took the fucking dab as an emote. Even Overwatch has not gone down to the level to go to hip-hop moves as emotes. Beyond, you know, the dancing emotes from Season 4. And my next point is basically seasons. Seasons are supposed to justify the change in your game. Overwatch has ranked seasons. The ranked seasons work completely well because not only is it ranked matches, which people absolutely adore, including me, because it shows off maybe skill, a lot of other things besides skill, for instance, persistence. And while some people may fail, get back up, blah blah blah, the regular shit. But for God's sakes, the closest thing they had to that was a solo, which didn't even bring in something new. It was basically, if you're skilled, do this mode. Like, what the hell? Some dumbass little noob could jump right in and somehow accidentally dominate because they're in a bush. Like, you don't even ban specific things to make it harder. You're just using good old duos for your own weird little extension. Not even that, but you fail your own extension. Because for God's sakes, if it wasn't already boring and repetitive enough, you just had to shove something else down our throats just to keep us chewing on it. Except no, you never flesh it out, you never give us anything spicy. You're shoving a potato down my throat, Epic Games. That sounds very sexual. It's bland. is what it is. And if you don't bring spice into your game, for instance, Overwatch has an overarching story, which this game, I already used that point. What else could I say? Epic Games is lousy. Some of its producers are just really garbage at its very own. Not only that, but even handling the game is bad. Like, the way they handle it is dog shit. The way they handle the constructions, the way they handle their own employees. For one, you could get better people. I mean, I'm sure nobody would goddamn mind if you were to, I don't know, be good game producers. It makes me very sad. Good old Lefty. But for fuck's sakes, if you don't make it the most boring game ever. I can't even stress out how many times that it's boring, because it's that goddamn boring. I can't even begin to explain, nor do I understand how big of a goddamn wasted disappointment this game could be. It could have been a breakthrough, a smart breakthrough, through good old, dumb little regular. Where did Fruity Maze go? No, Fruity Maze goes here. I'll switch these out. But fuck's sakes, it's so goddamn boring. Boring. When will you stop? Well, I won't stop, so fuck you. It's also unoriginal. Like, to be honest, just mixing stuff doesn't make it new. Not only that, but that doesn't mean that it's anything special. It more likely means that it's a bad game. I mean, if executed right, it's phenomenal. I've seen amazing games execute different mechanics really well. Assassin's Creed is a massive thing of that. It's stealth. It's nice. It has somewhat refined visuals, and it has an overarching story that is really amazing just to imagine. But if they don't make it the most weird and most ogling concept, Assassin's Creed is future. But this game, it's just Purple Storm, Battle Royale game building. The shotguns are even broken. Much of the weapons don't even goddamn work. You remember the smoke grenade? That was actually a smart implantation. Nope. Fuck you. Just take it out. And it's so retarded. There's nothing really to do here, so I might as well just exit game. I can rant about this for hours and hours. No, I can't. Probably like 20 minutes. But for what it is, it's such a bad game. Because on paper, you'd think, oh, Minecraft with PUBG, but let's make it maybe more cartoony. It's bad. And there's not even much esport relation. Because unlike Overwatch, they don't even have private matches where you could have peace and fun, maybe play around with the mechanics. No, you're always in a rush and you're never given time to breathe. Which, beyond the lobby, which is one of the dumbest decisions ever, because the lobby is always a place you should breathe. It shouldn't be made as a standpoint decision. Oh, lobby is the only time you can breathe. That's pretty fucking obvious. At least in Overwatch games, you have maybe midpoints in between the game. Actually, yeah, usually when someone wins, you have the second part of a game. Or if not, then it'd be a short game. But for God's sakes, if you have to chill out in the lobby instead of maybe in your own spawn and Overwatch, because the objective isn't really that much, which I don't really say you should do. But it's so bland and boring. Not Overwatch, but Fortnite. God, I've said that so many times. Bland, boring, oversaturated, unoriginal. It fails in execution. It's one of the most dog shit games I've ever rather seen or played. And trust me, it's not like I personally hate this game. Trust me, there's truly nothing wrong with it in my experience. That's a lie. It's a fucking rat. I personally do not like it. That does not mean that I hate it or that I want the game to crash, because soon enough it will die. But for fuck's sake, if media doesn't shut up about it. And it's an outrage, and the industry just makes it seem like such a cunt. Like, to be honest, I just hate that. It's just a bad game. Fortnite, it's a terrible game. That's the last thing you should take away from this. But this recording's already pretty long, so I'll see you on the next time. Peace.